See?
Yeah, ghost money. There we go.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah. October.
No, you could work like the Frighteners. The Frighteners. Michael J. Fox has the two ghosts working with him.
Right. I love The Frighteners. Frighteners is such a great movie, and I just noticed that it's on HBO Max now. I just saw that not too long ago. So I'm very happy I need to watch that pretty soon.
But we skipped Russell. We skipped Sam Jackson for the broadcast.
Sam Jackson. So he's on camera. Okay, so this is what it is. He's like, you go out, right?
Oh, no.
You go find a dark alley. You find someone walking by themselves. You knock them out. You put them in your trunk. You bring them home, put them in your freezer. Leave them there for 3 months, right? And what you do is you thaw them out for 1 day, cut them all up into pieces. Find the fattiest pieces, put them on a grill, cook them. Get some soup, put the bones in, you got broth. That's the Carl Weathers from Arrested Development thing.
He's got a stew going.
So he's a Wendigo who is a cannibal, and he gets his stew on with bodies.
Some people add carrots for flavor. This is a mistake.
The femur juice, the bone marrow from the femur, is sweeter than the bone marrow in the tibia.
It's just known.
That feels true. It rings true. I believe that.
Yes.
If you say that with authority, people will listen to it. Because no one knows.
And if they do, sociopath, they're weird. Don't sit that person. See, there
I'm
you
gonna
go.
leave. Yeah, if they know, I'm like, yeah, I'll be right back. You see me running behind the house, hopping a fence,
Right.
pulling a hot fuzz. Getting away from that place. So do you think that's good, Jay? Like a bone marrow broth?
I do, but then Stellan Skarsgård's going to get involved because his favourite food was the bone marrow meatball pizza from a few weeks ago.
Do you think they've had that accident where he actually uses human bone marrow on his pizza?
Accidentally.
Yeah. Wait, so he's one of them too?
He paid extra. He paid extra for human bone marrow. It better be human bone marrow.
That sounds like something from Hostel.
Sam Jackson's inside that shark now, and he's found Jim Whitlock's arm, and he's like, "Oh, here we go. I get a little snack whilst I'm being digested."
His decapitated head is just going. Wait, if you chop off the head of a Wendigo,
I think it's dead. I think if you chop off the head of anything, it's dead, apart from a chicken.
Yeah. I just started watching like all of Supernatural, and I'm pretty sure they had a Wendigo, and a way to kill a Wendigo is chopping off their head, maybe with silver. I think they incorporated silver in some way, but head choppage, I think, is a pretty decent way to take something out. I think that's across the board.
It's pretty final, yeah.
Yeah.
This is insane. I think I've probably asked you this before, but Mark, not you, Mark. Jay, I probably asked you this, but who wins in a fight? The Headless Horseman or Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander?
Ooh.
I think we've definitely discussed this before.
It's a good question. So
I loved Mark's face there when I asked him. He went, oh.
Yeah. Okay, so Duncan MacLeod, okay. Headless Horseman. I'm going to choose the iteration of the Headless Horseman, and that would be the one from Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
Christopher Walken, yeah.
I'll choose that.
Winning.
Okay. So, I would want to say the Headless Horseman because he doesn't have a head. But if Duncan somehow finds the head in the tree of the person who's controlling said Headless Horseman and puts the head on him, then decapitates him, it could be Duncan. But again, the Headless Horseman is a badass swordsman. Ooh, this is a good one. I'm stumped. Actually, I'm leaning towards the Headless Horseman.
It's the greatest moment of my life. I almost stumped somebody with this question.
I think I have to go with the Headless Horseman in this one.
I got to agree with you there, Mark, as well. Just because, like, the Highlander, Duncan MacLeod, he's got one move. He's got the decap move. That's his move. And he's got those steps that he needs to do. He needs to find the head, put it on the place, then decapitate it. Whereas the Headless Horseman, it's got many moves. It can do anything. Like, it can just take out Duncan MacLeod whilst he's trying to arrange all of this stuff. It's easy.
Exactly. The Headless Horseman is making a 2-egg omelet, and Duncan is trying to do with 3 eggs plus milk, and that's just, acceptable.
So what do we think of that recipe? Mark, you're a foodie, you're a chef.
Yeah.
It's why we specifically got you in for this chapter. Is this how you make an omelette?
So I have made literally 3 omelets in my life, and once was by mistake, quite honestly.
You tripped and fell.
Wait, what? Oh, hey.
Yeah, I'm not that big a fan of, like, eggs.
Well, how'd you make an omelet by mistake? Did you, like, a scramble turned into something terrible?
Like
Like,
a
what
quiche
happened?
and you forgot the crust.
So, I was making scrambled eggs. That was my intention. It started out as scrambled eggs. I cracked them, put them in the pot, in the pan, and I walked away, and I had to do something. And by that time, the pot was kind of high, so the bottom had solidified. So it wouldn't be scrambled like little nuggets of egg. It would have been like me chopping up like little rectangular hard-edged pieces of egg. Like, yeah, that doesn't look like scrambled eggs. So I just put some cheese and stuff inside and just flipped it over, and boom, had an omelet.
How was it?
It was good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't my initial plan for breakfast that day. I wasn't looking to do an omelet, but, you made, lemons. Life gave me lemons. I made lemonade. I just, threw my stuff that I was going to have with my eggs inside the eggs and folded it over.
So you put eggs in a hot pot and then you go do something else?
Something pulled me away.
Ghost?
But I got distracted.
Headless Horseman?
The room for a second. And I came back like, oh, my eggs are kind of, they weren't burnt, but, they had taken the shape of the pan I was cooking in. I'm like, okay, so these eggs are practically done at this point, so no use in actually breaking them up to scramble them. So I just fold them over and, did what I had to do with them.
You live life on the edge, Mark.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, I would not do it again that way. But it just so happened to happen that way on that particular day. But on the subject of scrambled eggs, can I just share with you guys? This goes out to you, Jay. I can't think of his name right now. Famous British cook, yells at people in America, but
Gordon Ramsay.
Yes, him. He has the worst scrambled egg recipe. Have you guys seen this?
I have not.
Okay.
Has Uncle Roger made fun of him?
He may have. Actually, I think Uncle Roger has made fun of Gordon Ramsay. But
I love this fried rice episode, though, which is crazy.
I haven't seen the fried rice one with Gordon Ramsay, but yes, Uncle Roger is hilarious. I love Uncle Roger. But Gordon Ramsay has the worst scrambled egg recipe. Now, me personally, I like my eggs to be dry. I can't do runny eggs, sunny side up. There are a special group of people out there, God bless them. They dip their toast into like the runny yolk of their eggs.
It's a very British thing.
Yeah.
The egg and soldiers.
That's what it is.
I thought you said toes, not toast. I was like,
hey, tomato. Each to
yeah.
OnlyFans, Mark, I'm pretty sure they dip their toes in their runny eggs, but
Tarantino does.
But people dip their toast in like to runny eggs. They call them dippy eggs. It all disgusts me. I can't do it. My eggs have to be devoid of liquid if they're, done. And his eggs are literally a glob of gelatinous yellow goo on a plate. And people are like, oh yeah, they're so good. This is the perfectly scrambled egg. I'm like, according to who? According to who, sir? It's disgusting. I can't do it. But that's my one egg tirade.
Does he put milk on them?
Creme fraiche. I found the recipe. He puts creme fraiche in there.
Yeah, it's just strange. The eggs don't look scrambled at all. It's just like the eggs are in some type of purgatory between liquid and solid, and that's just wrong.
Do you like to blend your sweet and savory, or do you keep them separate?
It depends. It depends on the application. I love grilling. For those at home or those listening, today is the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm prepping for food. And since it's a pretty unconventional Thanksgiving, I'm actually grilling and smoking for Thanksgiving as opposed to doing a traditional menu. So I'm doing like beef ribs and pulled pork and, jerk chicken, things like that.
Mark's the best cook I've ever eaten the food of. I just gotta say, his gumbo is legendary. Jambalaya.
Yes, move to the States, please, so I can cook more for you. But in a pork application, I definitely love mixing sweet and savory in those ways. Of course, this Southern American fare, I think everyone does it now, but chicken and waffles is a great, sweet and savory combo. Jay, if you haven't tried it, you should.
I haven't. I've recently started frying my own chicken.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm not great at it yet, so I'm not,
Okay.
there'll be no photographic evidence yet, but I'm dabbling.
So sweet and savory works in certain applications. So I am a fan of the sweet and savory. I am.
Okay.
See, with the eggs, Mark's made 3 omelettes in his life. I have never made or eaten an omelette.
Really?
Ever. I don't like eggs. As in, I don't like the concept of eggs. I'm fine with eating meat. I'm not a vegetarian, vegan, or anything like that. Completely respect the people that are. But just the concept of eating an egg freaks me out. I don't know what it doesn't seem right. I feel like you're supposed to eat meat. It's there to be eaten. Eggs are just this other thing. It just weirds me. So I've had scrambled egg a couple of times. I will put egg in cake because that's just nature. You're supposed to. It's just how you make cake. But I've never had a fried egg. I've never had poached. Any other kind of egg other than I've tried scrambled.
Wow. I've done hundreds. Wow.
I just can't get it. So I don't know if this omelette recipe is good or not. Listening to the commentary, Rennie Harlan doesn't agree with this, the omelette recipe.
I think it is. I've made hundreds of omelets in my life. I eat eggs nonstop, tuna. I used to do all that nonstop. And I was watching the chef show, and they went to Wolfgang Puck, his restaurant, and they never touched milk or cream or any of that. They just made straight up omelets. In the chef show, like the chef movie, like they didn't put it on there. So I've been researching like a decent amount here, and it is split because I think people want like make it frothier, I guess, with the milk, like kind of
It's fluffier. The milk does give you a fluffier outcome when you add it to egg.
I've never used milk, never done it.
Yeah,
it's a mistake.
I've done it in the past when cooking for a lot of people. So this. Pre-COVID, like we'll have these huge Christmas brunches, at my parents' house, and like the whole family's over there. So if you are cooking like a dozen of scrambled eggs at the same time, it's a great way of making your eggs fluffy, and it also stretches it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of splashes. I actually prefer using half and half or heavy cream as opposed to just milk. But yeah, it does add a little more body to the egg.
I will say if you're making for a group, that's fine, I guess. But because you got to stretch it. It saves time. You make more. I mean, people aren't as discerning. But I guess if you're making a perfect one, like you watch Daredevil when Kingpin makes his omelets, that's like one of my. I miss Daredevil. Oh my gosh,
it was such a good show.
Vincent D'Onofrio was so good at making omelets. That was like, so good. Yeah, he didn't even mess with that. So what do you think? If you're cooking for a baseball team, you're adding milk. But if you're just making the perfect thing, right? You're not doing that.
Very true. The quintessential omelet, I don't think deserves milk. But again, he did mention that, it's a novice or a beginner's mistake because it does add that body to it. So it does make if you're slow on the uptake on folding it over and things like that, you don't want your omelet to really break. Depending on what you put it into, if you put in like, bacon or something a little more textured, that can poke through your omelet and that can kind of ruin it to an extent. So adding that milk is just like I would say, it's an insurance policy that some people may depend on. But
training wheels.
Exactly. But if you are, a great cook, you really don't need it.
Okay. I like it. I like your style. Preacher's so good, isn't he? I've been reading these articles, and there's an article on IO9. They're like, if there's a Deep Blue Sea sequel, try saying that a lot, without LL Cool J, like Preacher, like just throw it back. Like he's such. I love this. Yeah. But no, it's just like I really love Preacher in this, and I was reading on the commentary. Rennie talks about how much he loved him, and different interviews that you can read about. He talked about how much he loved Preacher, and Preacher was supposed to die. But instead, like they gave him all these scenes because I think he was just so good. Mm-hmm. And for a guy, LL, he had performed live in front of a lot of people. He had done his MTV special before this, that like classic MTV special. He was in Holly and H2O. He was likable in that. But he's by himself a lot in this movie. And we talked about this with the other French Toast Sunday crew that he's really good in this. And I think he pulls off that video well. You get the drama and then the switch to eggs. Like, this makes me happy.
Right. Because it's